sorry, I was just finishing my coffee there. I'm going to try not to edit this show at all this week. The last one was a little bit edited because I was trying to cover up the swear words and stuff like that. But this time we're just going to go for it, guys. Warts and all. Like a fucking Motorhead gig. Right, so I've got some questions to answer from everybody this week. I hope you're all doing well, by the way. I know this was supposed to be out like 2 months ago, but following all your letters of complaint, which amounted to 0, I pretty much just assumed that nobody gave a fuck. So, but thanks for sending your questions in for us anyway. I'm going to get through those. I just want to mention Prick of the Day this week, which is going to be a new section on the show. Prick of the Day is people who park too close to you in Tesco. Actually, I can't say Tesco because we're not advertised by anybody. So there are other shopping centres, shopping supermarkets available. Tesco is just one of them. So people who park too close to you in Tesco or any other shopping centre car park. By the way, I was just watching Michael McIntyre's new stand-up show. It's very good. I say very good because there was one time when I used to live with Alex Waite, and I got in from a Stereophonics gig, and he turned around and he was like, "Hey man, how was the gig?" And normally when I come in, I'll say, if I come in from a show at the Hydro, and somebody says, "How was the gig?" Usually I'll be like, "Oh, it was fucking unbelievable. It was amazing," or either it'll be that, or it'll be like, "Oh, shite, I'll never be going to see them again." But when Alex asked me how the Stereophonics gig went, I thought for a second and I was like, you know what, it was very good. Because there's nothing, they did what I expected. They didn't exceed my expectations. Kelly Jones is a pretty boring guy most of the time, and he was even more boring. At this gig, he just stood there, played the guitar. He played all the right songs in generally the right order. I mean, it's just weird because everybody still loves him, but for me, they're just like they're like the Nandos of music. For years I never really understood the big thing about Nandos, and I still don't. Like, oh, it's fucking up. Chicken's amazing. Like, chicken's chicken, man. I mean, I lived opposite KFC in Springburn for years. I would take a KFC over a Nando's any day. And then somebody took me in and they're like, "How does it work?" And I don't think we even had the food in Nando's. It was like, what do? You sit down. And then what do? You basically sit down and then you have to get up again instantly to go and order your chicken or something, or do you order off the menu and then you've got to go and pick it up? Something about walking about. Anyway, for that reason, I would call Nando's shockingly average, surprisingly average, which I'm trying to describe to you is what me and Alex would say. It was very good, Something that you couldn't really say was awesome, but you're surprised that it's like people go on about it, or you're surprised that because people only go on about one of two things these days: fucking amazing things and fucking shite things, or their opinion thereof. Nobody ever talk. No, so many people have got like a digital opinion about things. Oh, well, it was amazing, or oh, no, it was pish. But yeah, I just think Stereophonics, Nandos, more like Blandos with your what is it called again? Peri chicken, very good chicken. Shut up, man. Right then, let's get to your questions before I piss off any other major brands or companies here. I got some questions through from Kirsty and Yvonne and a few other people here. So might as well get through them just now. First gig you ever went to, this one's from Kirsty. I went to the Fun Loving Criminals when I was about 14. I think that was my first ever gig. And that was at the Sands Centre in Carlisle. Because the more perceptive among you will know that I'm not actually from Glasgow. And I'm only just from Scotland. I was born, never mind where I was born, but the closest city was Carlisle anyway, and that housed the biggest, it wasn't even really an arena, I don't know what you could call it, just a big theatre with no seats in it. It's Carlisle, couldn't afford seats. You could just stand there and buy a pint and enjoy the band. Couldn't even do that because I was only 15. Fun Loving Criminals, it was just after they brought out that song Loco, which was on the Miller Lite advert. Pointless info for you there. So me and my friend Mexi Neil, I call him Mexi Neil because my name was Mexi Gary because we were both in a band called Mexico together, and we wrote Bread Demon, which was years before I realised I had a gluten intolerance. That's the Bread Demon getting me back for slagging him off. If you've heard the song, you'll know what it's on about. But anyway, next question from Kirsty as well was best gig you've ever been to. Brad Paisley, can't lie about that. Brad Paisley at the where's it again? Dublin at O2 Dublin O2 Arena. And that must have been about 10 years ago now. Me and the guys were on our way to do our second tour of Holland. So we took all our gear on the plane. We're going to Dublin to see Brad on a Wednesday, and then we went to do our own gigs in Holland, in Friesland, up the top of Holland, which I might have told you about before, on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we took all our gear over to Dublin and stopped off the hotel to drop it in, and then went out to this Brad Paisley gig, and then went to Temple. Is it Temple Lane or Temple Bar? Got a bit messed up, and then only just got the flight over to Amsterdam in the morning to get the bus to Friesland. That was a whirlwind week, I'll tell you that. And that was more information than you asked for, because all you said was best gig you've been to. So that was Brad Paisley. Or I would say maybe Blink-182. The first time I ever saw them was at Leeds Festival, 2003. 17 years ago, eh? When COVID-19 was just nothing more than a twinkle in the eye of foot and mouth disease or something. I don't know. Let's move on. So Blink-182, me and Mex and Neil went to see Blink-182 at Leeds Festival 2003. And we threw CDs on stage, thinking that the band would be like, oh my God, this is amazing. We've never seen CDs before from a band called Mexico with an album called Toucan Rock. What's this song, Bread Demon? Here, have a hit. Your stars. What actually happened was the band completely ignored the CDs that were thrown on stage, and they got swept up by the tech minutes after they vacated the stage. I'm surprised we didn't actually get in trouble, because it wasn't just CDs and floppy packs. It was the actual digipack plastic case with the full shrink wrap and everything. So I was thinking we could, if we'd actually caught the bass or the bassist, could have had his eye out. But at least we would have got his fucking attention, you know what I mean? Anyway, next question. The best gig we've ever played. I Spotted the Darkness before with a band called The Joker's Rage, which I used to be in full-time, but it turned out that their guitar player, Adam, couldn't do this particular gig. It was at the Scarborough City Hall, or... Jesus, you would think I'd know it, but... Scarborough Hall. Am I having a stroke or something? Scarborough Hall City. And I just filled in for Adam. I think he was on tour with a Pink Floyd tribute at the time. So I got to play one of the best gigs I've ever played with my boy Zachy Boy Rage and the other guys from the Joker's Rage. Zachy Boy Rage isn't his real name. The band's not named after him. His name's Andrew Buttle. Don't tell anybody that, though. I think he's running from the feds or something. Changed his name to Zach Taylor. Thinks he's Prince. He'll be calling himself the artist formerly known as Andrew Taylor. I've got them mixed up now. Andrew Buttle. I don't fucking know. Just call him Zach. So one of the other best gigs I played was the Mean Fiddler in London when Mexico, my two-piece band with Mex and you'll remember, we got invited down to do to represent Scotland in what was called the Global Battle of the Bands, which it turned out to be a massive money-making thing years later, but it was actually pretty prestigious to be invited to that, because we'd already won 2 regional Battle of the Bands in Perth and Dundee, of all places, because I used to live in Perth and Neil used to live in Dundee, which I've driven to before in my bare feet. That's a Partridge line for you. That's for Vonnie if she's listening. So we played the Mean Fiddler in London, representing Scotland in the Global Battle of the Bands, and we came third of 16 or 17 bands. We were obviously part of the European leg. Like they didn't host the entire global event in London, and we were just part of the European. But we did support, we did represent Scotland. We came third, so it was kind of like a rock and roll version of the Eurovision Song Contest. And now that I think about it, if we'd done something as cheesy and shit as Bread Demon, we might have actually won the cunt. But anyway, that didn't happen. We came third, which meant that we didn't get through to the final, which actually was won by the band Second from Spain. So the Second came first. And they actually came first in our round as well. I think it was set up just because they looked a bit like the Killers, who were doing well at the time, who still are, doing well. I don't even know. Has anybody heard from the Killers for a while? Maybe they've been killed. Shit. Right, everyone's got a question. Did you have any other job ambitions growing up other than being a musician? Well, it's nice that you think I'm a musician. For a start. Well, she says, P.S. I'm glad you're a musician. Yeah, like I say, it's nice that you described me as such, because a lot of people probably wouldn't. It's funny, like some people go, oh, you can't play guitar. Being in a band's not a real job. Can you try telling that to the fucking HMRC every year? That this isn't a real job. And this isn't, or it's not really work. Tell them that. Anyway, she said, what would you rather have done if you weren't a musician? I'd probably be a long-distance lorry driver, to be honest. I really like driving. So much so that my next album was going to be called Drive. But because I wrote a lot of it when we were on tour in Spain, actually. Driving in a van there and back. But I like driving, so I would have been a long-distance lorry driver, but it turns out it was not to be. The good Lord had other plans for little old Gary Johnston. No, you go, instead of going driving a lorry, we chilled out existence, listening to your tunes and eating burgers and, I don't know, I've watched too many American films about lorry drivers, I think. We're going to put you in a van with two other guys basically doing, basically long distance lorry driver is part of my job description. Except there's two other guys there who I get to annoy. They never annoy me. I just get to annoy them. Or my stories about, I could totally do a podcast. Well, I'm still going to make it, man, just because I'm 36. They're like, yeah, whatever. Just drive the van so I can watch whatever, the next Marvel film on my iPad. Anyway, next question from Yvonne was, has COVID or lockdown made you see the world or life differently? Well, it's definitely made me grateful for playing guitar for a living. Because it's not, like, doing it live's a lot more fun than doing it on the phone, because it's more fun to berate the audience. That's mainly what I'm getting at. It's more fun to berate the audience when I can actually see your faces. And I can actually, you're watching me on the live streams going, look at his face, and look at his clothes, or look at his hair. How stupid does he look? Well, I can't see how fucking retarded you look. Can't say retarded, it's 2020. Whoops. There's going to be a hashtag about me tomorrow, if anybody actually listens to this. I can't see how ridiculous you look. Sitting there in your with your feet up on the dog with your little fluffy pink slippers on. And I'm just talking about Craig here. It's just one of them things. I do miss playing live. I've enjoyed the break. And I probably wouldn't have done a podcast if it wasn't for COVID. It's really. This. I've seen this before. This is really just for my own, just to get my own thoughts out. Not clearly there isn't many of them, so I don't even know why I'm bothering. Let's move on. Has it put a positive, negative spin on your opinion on politicians? Well, I'll let Dean answer that one in his own podcast. He's more into politics than I am, or he's at least more outspoken about it. Put it that way. Yvonne also says, has it put a positive and negative spin on your choices in life? Like, as in, if I'd known this was going to happen, would I not have chosen to be a musician? I wouldn't. I've talked about this before. I wouldn't really change anything about my life. Not that we're remotely famous, but even to the minuscule level that we are, it just made me realise that I would never want to be. I still would like to be successful with original music, But whether that's like selling it to somebody else or doing something like Deadmau 5, as Gibby calls him, Dead Mouse, being like a pretty famous celebrity whose face you never see. And you never need to see my face anyway, because, as we discussed earlier, all you ever do is berate me. Look at his nose. Look at his teeth. Fucking piss off. Anyway, on a lighter note, what's your favourite colour? Red. Oh, she said one more thing was, what are you most drawn to in a woman? Actually, my favourite colour's not red. It used to be red for the longest time. I think it's probably, I suppose it really is kind of maroon. It's like dark red now. I think I've calmed it. It used to be like pillar box red, but now it's more like an aged red. You know, like Angus Young's guitar. That's still called red, I suppose. It's still more red than Gibby's fucking drum kit. He seems to think that's red. It's purple. Purple, mate. Get it right. Last question here. What are you most drawn to in a woman? Are you a bum, legs, boobs, etc.? I like a woman who likes great music, great chat, and great cars. Unfortunately, I can provide none of those things. So yeah, so I hope that's answered all your questions today, guys. That's probably enough podcasting from me for one day. I hope you've all had a bit of a laugh at me, at my expense, at Gary Johnston Music. That's my Facebook address. I was just trying to get that stuck in there. And don't forget, David Brent says, a good idea is a good idea forever. Unless that idea is, hey guys, let's all quit our jobs 10 years ago and become full-time musicians with no transferable skills, so that if a fucking universal epidemic ever befalls the planet, we're totally out in our fucking ear for at least 12 months. Bye.